there just because they can dictate the pace a little bit. And after how things went on Mirage, they don't really want to let OneTap start this one off in control of the game. People have the weirdest reactions to people typing in other languages in a chat. Just, you don't understand it. Just don't read it. Not that difficult. Dual Berettas though up close in apps. This is going to be fun. He does have a little bit of support, I was going to say, with Moto also in position. He gets decked instantly. Moto will also return the one-tap the one-tap fire, I suppose, yeah. Works with their name. Fortunately, though, they're going to actually start rotating their forces towards A because of that. Guessing, or rather second guessing themselves, thankfully, and sending Smek back over, though, so they will at least still have two players here in position as the push begins to come in. Dron struggling to land on the head, will eventually take Caesar out, but not before losing his teammate, and with the numbers now remaining equal, I was going to say this should be an opportunity for the bomb plant, but Dron forces the issue. His teammates, unfortunately, had been smoked off deep in the spawn, so he has no cover to actually, no sort of assistance, rather. And now they're going to fall back down Banana. I like this. Because of the deep smoke, there's just no info at all for the CTs. I think they're now realizing that this is a possibility, but unfortunately, they're not going to be able to get themselves into position in time. As the bomb will indeed get planted, but as I say that, the swings are going to come in. Vista puts himself very open. That is surprising. There was zero need for that. Now HS doesn't have the room to actually get this bomb planted as they're going to push him down. Managing to at least get the first kill, but the headshot is returned by Moto. And again, yeah, I'm not too sure why the hell he put himself in the open there, just out towards Moto. Maybe he was trying to cross over to Grave, but it was just a little bit of a weird one. At that point, you should presume that the CTs are probably pretty close, since it took quite a while to actually make their way back down Banana and up mid. With that, the opening pistol round again goes towards OneTap. A very close one, but a lot of the first 8 rounds on that previous map of Mirage were also coming down to only 1 or 2 players surviving. Just the fact that OneTap were doing an excellent job of always clutching out those situations. A bomb plant, so the buy isn't perfect, but they do have a Galil in there, a Mac 10, I believe, and 3 Tech 9s. The icons for the weapons are a little bit smaller on this hood, and I already have terrible eyesight, so it takes me a little bit longer to pick up what everyone's rocking. Tech 9 looks a little bit too similar to the Mac 10. At first glance, anyway. Obviously, you can tell the difference. Smek, though, I was about to say, had been jump peeking this for a while and was about to find all 5 players as he peeks out. That was a bit of a surprise. Done good damage, though. That nade didn't finish off Sikta, but he's down on 2. It's going to be ZFX who falls on the push through, and Dron has done a fantastic job. Sure, he eventually gets overrun, but he kept their advantage, and he left the final 2 players on the brink of death, which is enough to ensure the bomb doesn't even get planted. Ooh, Sikta swings around, and it's a really nice deagle shot, though. For a moment, it looked like he was deciding to just completely bail. But he is going to come back in, realizing there's no time, unfortunately, to wrap all the way around through spawn. He hits the dink on Moto. This is getting a little bit too close, but still the win was pretty much impossible considering the position of Swifter. Even 1 more kill there would have been some decent damage to make it a costly round. 2 only surviving though in the end. Honestly, Levadia can be relatively happy with how that went down. They can get a couple kills in this next round here while they're on the eco as well, and just give themselves a chance to come alive in that first gun round. They cannot allow it to go 8-0 or 11-0 actually, as it did in that previous map again. Combo in the app. Eco rush though, so we're not really expecting anything that is pretty much how Levadia probably expected it to go down as well. There's always that little bit of hope you get a couple kills out of it, but when you've only got the pistols to work with, really mostly non-upgraded ones as well, it cannot be too high. Still though, a kill or 2 would have been nice. Instead now 5 players are left standing and the economy really starts to build up for OneTap. Not all that strong though. actually not as good as I thought it would be. Hopefully now Lavedia can come alive, because again, we seen so much from them yesterday. We had a great showing in their previous best of 3 as well, or they had a great showing taking the 2-0, and they just haven't come alive at all here in the grand finals. As it's a very passive hold from OneTap. Didn't really put any aggression on towards Banana, they just waited for steps to be, I guess, somewhat heard. They didn't really make steps around the car itself before they put down the molly in the half-wall smoke. Yeah, this is definitely, if the CTs play this passive often, then this is definitely a setup that can be abused by Lavedia. They'll have a lot of room to just take map control. How long does it take them to realize that, though? Because they could have very easily taken mid control in this round as well. It's just the nades being tossed from back in the pits right now. Execute. Fortunately, there was still a few smokes and quite a bit of utility for the CTs to toss through to delay. There's going to be time still for Lavedia to make their way in, but also plenty of warning, I was going to say, for rotations to start coming in from OneTap, but they seem to think it's the fake. They haven't budged at all. They had 3 players heavily over towards the short side of A. Only one of them begun to move at all, so it's going to be very long rotations to get help on this B bomb site. And Smek tries to do what he can from back on quad, eventually getting 1, but that's all he can find, as Adron went down with 0 kills to his name, unfortunately. A flank of Banana. Alive for now, at least, but heavily damaged. DGO hype down to 20, and what the hell happened there? They line up for Caesar. He gets a team kill somehow. I got a little bit confused about how exactly that played out, but either way, it doesn't seem like there's any hope for OneTap in the end. Geohype is going to back away, look to just save his weapon. From what I've heard, Romania does have really good internet. I can't believe there's people who just stay in chat all game just to talk trash about other nationalities. It's really weird, people. Really weird. Calm down, be friends, just have a good time. Enjoy some Counter-Strike. You all have something in common. It's not that difficult. Here we go. 3-1, Lavedia on the board. Hopefully with a lot more to give us now on this map. I wouldn't mind the 3-mapper to finish out the tournament. As I said, we obviously had yesterday only best of 1s, and we had 2 pretty quick semi-finals as well. And I did spot that player actually crossing into the tree. Unfortunately, got naded just before as well, and a lot of damage, and making it a pretty easy finish there from Caesar, who himself is left pretty low on health in fairness, but they have the numbers advantage for now, which is the main thing, and OneTap didn't really take any sort of control or anything in the efforts of losing that player, so it's not like they have someone deep down Banana, or they even have the brackets control on mid. Instead, both players just going to double up around the pit, which, to be fair, considering they've managed to hang on to a decent few of their nades, isn't a bad shout. They do have a molly even still on Geo Hype, so he can drop that over towards short as this push starts to come true, which should be pretty soon. Folks are coming over, rotations are all coming in as well, though everyone is fully committed to this rotation, so if the call had have been made to bring it back towards B, it could have been a kind of free reign on that B bomb site for Lavedia. Unfortunately, they've just been stalled in towards mid now for about 20 seconds. No opportunities being given over to them, and they haven't really pushed for them as of yet, with the man advantage in fairness, so I guess just hoping that they would find some sort of a response from OneTap. Go. The execute now coming in. They've only 20 seconds to get on towards that bomb site, and with an opening from Swifter now, with a crossfire between the bomb site and the pit as well, this is going to be so difficult to do as the pressure is on, and as you can see, they just don't really have the time to clear it all out effectively. Charging into those M4s, getting torn up, and ZFX at least, I suppose, gets the save us up, but it's just going to be OneTap back into their winning ways. 4-1. if you're going to insult someone's English, you might want to get as well correct. Just so you know. 2 words. It's actually still a pretty decent buy from Lavedia, all things considered. Only 2 players left on weaker weapons. A Tech 9, and honestly, I can't make out another Tech 9. My screen is way too vibrant. It blends in with the orange. Here we go. The B push through the smoke. Wasn't actually anyone peeking initially, so they managed to get a couple players through. Even a player in behind now in construction, which could be pivotal. The problem is they have to wait for him to make his play, which is allowing those rotations to also now come in. And, well, eventually SiGMA, I was going to say, had the drop on one player up close, but he gets found out by a drawn SiGMA still standing, and he's able to do further damage as they decimate the push in through those smokes. They had them just trapped in the pool the entire time. Honestly, seeing the player up close, obviously he had his back turned, so the hope there is you just open up the bomb site completely, but it was red. Dron had his teammates back. It's 5-1. Finally another eco. Or is it? No, HS is actually bought up. Obviously they have some loss bonus, but still most of the loss bonus gone at this point, but the HS at least has definitely invested a small bit too much. But it might amount to a potential bomb plant. I think that's what they're aiming towards, since they've clearly gone for 3 full set utility. Yeah, no real hold in towards mid. OneTap are happy to sit back, and it's been working quite well for them. Timing the utility usage and just keeping Lavedia really from being able to move in until the time has already ticked down at least a decent amount. And they themselves have used quite a bit of their utility. As well, they decide to go crazy. Spec just charges out long. I think he was forced forward, actually, it looks like, by that Molotov, and it just ended up working in his favor because it allowed him to help out his teammate. And as the desperation jump out of apartments doesn't work for SiGMA, it leaves Vista all alone. This is, again, just incredibly shocking to me. I thought Lavedia had a lot more to give after their showing opening performances, rather, but they are just not showing up in this grand final right now. Six 1. Apologies. It's been a long morning. I guess. Needed a quick sup of tea there to keep the energy up. As things aren't really looking too different from the ZT side. OneTap don't really, I guess, need to make too many adjustments. It's working pretty well, but they do actually decide to be a bit more aggressive around Banana this time, and, well, that's backfiring, unfortunately. The jump at the half wall doesn't go well initially there for SiGMA, but the trade at least is going to be found back over in the apartments. As they just leave one player on Banana for now to try and take the mid control, which is going to come their way, but they end up getting a little bit overzealous. A charge around long from HS costs him his life. A peek in from a drawn then down Banana as well is actually going to extend this advantage even further for OneTap. And a perfectly timed flash there from Swifter as he comes out of Moto to just make that an easy kill for GeoHype. It's all on the ZFX, and again, around just crumbles before it really gets an opportunity to become anything for Lavedia. In fairness, he may have thought there was 2 casters, because when I do get a bit excited, my voice gets way too high-pitched. I wouldn't blame him. Yeah, ZFX is really just looking to save the up at this point, so we are going to have a bit of silence, as he likely will be able to do so. I mean, the money's okay for OneTap. They could hunt it if they wanted, but they don't really seem interested. Happy to keep the 4 standing, especially with 2 of their players already incredibly low. And really just ensure that they have a lot of security with their economy looking sharp for if they do end up losing a couple rounds. I Oh, I'm just kind of thrown off by how one-sided this is. HS isn't managing to get going. Sikta has only had a couple rounds where he's gotten going as well, and he's been playing really well for Levadia in all their other games. Back onto the buy though, and they actually do decide to pick up the off as well. Sometimes avoided on this T side, but since they've been playing a pretty slow style, I suppose they want to try and pick it up and see if they can work a pick. I was gonna say the problem is OneTap don't go for a lot of aggression, but they actually are throwing the up over towards Banana now to see if anyone's gonna take a little peek in. So they might end up clashing. It is only that up for now, of course, it was saved over. But with a few Tech 9s and decent utility behind it, there's definitely still a lot that can be done. And as you can see, one well-timed flash at least gives them control over towards Banana now. I think being prepared there of Smek. He's at least sitting in towards Arch so he can move quickly if needed. And he probably will be, actually. The nades are not all that great. Nothing that can truly delay them. I mean, there's a couple HEs and obviously they have their smokes as well, but there's not a molly which can stop them from charging through with those pistols, as they probably will look to do. Indeed, that's the case. Jumping through with the Deagle up front though. It still works for an entry, surprisingly, for Sikta, but yeah, his teammates didn't have the same level of commitment, so there's no trade to follow him up. It's going to be just destruction again in Banana. Solid nade also onto HS. Vista's trapped in the corner, and well, he gets a bit of help, thankfully, from ZFX, because it was looking like he was doomed otherwise. Here it is. Smek mows them both down. 8-1, halfway to the finish line already. It's not quite as one-sided as the 11-0 that they got themselves on Mirage, but still, it has been incredibly smooth sailing so far for OneTap. They're getting pauses, surprisingly, here from Levadia, considering the score they're at. They are on the guns again. Full AKs this time, not bothering with the op. I was going to say it would probably imply they'd be playing a bit more of an aggressive round, but unfortunately they weren't given that opportunity with this aggression down mid from OneTap. Opening pick already from Moto as well. I believe they spotted the player that had pushed down mid, but he's already bailed out now through Banana, so they're happy enough to give up that control and just sit with the 5-on-4. Levadia have no idea if they still have a player at bottom mid. They'll waste a lot of time finding that out, maybe even some of their utility, and yeah, by the time they're ready to move in towards a bomb site, then OneTap will very likely be ready for it with the time having ticked down. They've cleared up bottom mid itself anyway. Just straight into B. Flash from Smek. Was gonna say it probably won't help his teammate, but he was dead anyway, so I don't think it made much of a difference, and Smek actually is able to find 2 off the back of it. A little bit of help from a teammate's flash had come over as well. A massive gap in the CT smoke. I think it was blocked maybe by the body of Smek when he was taking that fight, or Geohype rather. And Vista, I was about to say, should be denied, but no, he actually gets the bomb down and doesn't even really take any damage there. The wallbang didn't land. The headshot will. 9-1. 3 players still standing. I mean, damage at this point just doesn't matter, even if it was only a single player standing, because they have the economy built up and already, of course, have just an amazing CT side here. We're gonna have to see a ridiculous turnaround in performance from Levadia, and I'm not really believing right now after seeing just how flat they've looked over these 2 maps. It seems like they haven't shown up in the same form at all in this final. Everyone's talking about HS, but what about Fetz? He's been everywhere. I'm pretty sure I casted him on a Chinese team at one point, which also had a Russian. Oh, damn. ZFX just catch that kill through the smoke there on mid. That is okay, nasty. I think he was just tapping away as the jump was coming across. Another kill through smoke. Okay, this is one way for Lavedia to get it done. Not even look at your opponents. If they don't have a chance to see you, what are they going to do? Eventually, though, a little bit at least returned. Swifter pushed up in apps. They're going to entrust him alone, actually, as well, now that he's gotten that kill deep in apartments, hoping that I guess they've pushed him back towards B. Doesn't really look to be the case, though. They've made a bit of noise around Banana, sure, but they're instantly moving back. They already had sicked it in apps, realizing that he had fallen back through short. Well timed Molly, though. Molly is really bad for Swifter. It's unfortunate he actually wrapped all the way around towards long. If he had just stayed on the bomb site, he would have been in a much better position to, at very least, delay that push in towards the bomb site. But yeah, they decided to actually just call for the save. They've got loads of money, sure, but still with a drop needed over towards Smek, and with there still being enough rounds here that they could maybe even face an eco at some point, they decided it's best to just save the weapons. Haven't really seen any sort of hunting from OneTap whenever Levadia were saving. That's why their economy is obviously so strong, but Levadia, are they willing to go out on the hunt now is the question. It would seem like they sent out Caesar, kind of. Anyway, he had to get away from the bomb, so he didn't have the option of saving in pit with them, but yeah, he didn't really want to risk losing his weapon either. Happy to keep the 4 standing and hopefully now build towards maybe even the 6th round half, which would be a fantastic recovery. Towards B, but they don't really do anything with it. That was weird. I'm guessing Moto threw some sort of utility in anyway before rotating back around. But yeah, they're not really bothering with any sort of deep banana aggression. We haven't seen that from either team. Well, from OneTap anyway. It's not the second half. What am I on about? Again, my brain is getting to that level where sometimes things come out that I don't mean to say. That's what happens with an all-nighter. This is a wild push. I thought Smek was going to go forward with that. Bit crazy to even go there just to toss the nade in. He knows he can bounce it down off the skybox, right? Either way, it does do a bit of damage. Not too sure where they want to end this. I mean, the bomb's an app, so it looks to be where they are going to bring it. Yeah, I was going to say they needed to move relatively quickly because the rotation was already starting to make its way back there. They'd begun to question whether it was B or not before those players even left Banana. So it's not looking too good. Tons of damage and a nade in on top of those low players. Thankfully, it goes over them. It doesn't do too much more on top of it, but they're being picked apart. A couple of bullets from the M4s is all that's needed on pretty much everyone. Vista and Caesar do manage to return a small bit, but as you can see now, with the time running low, with players still around this bomb site as well, it's so difficult, but they should at least have the kill on Moto, but no, how is he still alive? He doesn't even need to get the kill on ZFX either. He's just delayed long enough for the support to come in. Yeah, he should have been dead. For real. In fairness, the smoke was still fading there, but it was just the fact that he survived the spray from the AK as well, and then the op bullet doesn't land on him, that you're kind of thinking, damn, he's pretty lucky right now. 10-2. It's very rough. 5 isn't really enough on the T side. 6 would have been already pretty weak, but yeah, honestly, with their buy here not being, with their buy here being everything, rather having everything spent on it, if they lose this one, then it's probably even the 13-2 for OneTap. So this might be their last opportunity to start salvaging this half. Full banana control at least taken quite early on this time from Levadia. Could leave a player and move back over to try and take the mid control, but we'll see if that's the player or not. It looks like he might actually just send the player back to get the bomb. Oh, damn. I thought Smek hit that flick over because that player died instantly, but no, it was actually Moda who landed the op shot to take out the second man. Thankfully so. Somehow, I'm not quite sure how, but Vista, I believe that was able to actually escape out of Banana there. Actually decide they still want to move in towards B, apparently. The op, unfortunately, is going to be able to land one shot before the smoke blooms, and with a drone, we should have at least one of those kills. And it's actually going to be the bomb carrier as well, and Molly down then to ensure no room at all is given for the plant even to be put in place. Score is extended 11-2 now. It did look like he just hit a nasty transfer with the first bullet from it or something landing on the head. Yeah, which is great teamwork, in sync with the kills. I can't tell what the buy is like for Levadia. That's the only thing about the replays. We don't get to see them in the freeze time, so then I don't see what weapons they have because when they're leaving spawn, they always run with their knives out. So just a small design flaw. A bit of a slower round again. This time, though, all of the focus on Banana. They're not really looking to give away that they want to go in towards B this time, as has been done in the past. Problem is, it's still being red. Swifter's already started to rotate his way over. He has a molly as well, which could be really useful, but they actually don't smoke off the spawn initially. Taking that fight stops them from having any sort of signal that it's coming in, but they don't check out the back corner. They're fully focused on quad. Smek has 2 to his name. Adron does the same, lining up the heads, and, well, the Spices are actually creeping into construction. Still got 3 more to go here, and won't be able to get past the first of them. Swifter gives a swift end to the round. It's 12-2, and 13 shouldn't be too difficult to find. I think they have all about 3,500 there on Levadia with the full loss bonus. This is, again, just shocking to me. I would have almost certainly said I'd be expecting a 3-map series out of this game and close maps down to the wire, 16-14s, maybe even overtimes, but no, we haven't got any sort of a fight really from Levadia. Oh, even thinking that second player up there as he was coming through the smoke. Smek is going to spray down 2, full sprint then, blinded while he backs away to go ahead and take out HS, and it looked like it was going to be cleaned up with no casualties, but in the end, at least one player falls before they bring the scoreline 13-2. I don't know what else to say, really. This game has just been absolute decimation. Had have got towards overpacks as well, things would have been pretty interesting there because it was a strong map for both of these teams during the group stage. When they played each other, it went 16-13, so that was one that I expected probably would have gone close. So if even just if we had have got to that point, rather, we could have, even if they just traded map picks, we could have had a close one. Unfortunately, that's not what we're getting. Levadia a little bit overwhelmed with their choice here of Inferno. In fairness, we knew that OneTap could play Inferno. We've seen it from just earlier on. We hadn't seen Levadia's Inferno up until now. So we just didn't know what to expect. HS on the dual Berettas. We'd seen them picked up by OneTap back on their pistol round as well. As smoke is dropped for him to play in over on B. It's a cheeky one. Unfortunately, it's not going to pay off quite yet. Instead, it's actually Sikta's mid-aggression that gets pushed back on. One kill, honestly, not the worst, considering he was being pushed down by an entire team of T's. At least the numbers do keep equal for now, but it's favourable still for OneTap. They'll be happy enough with a 4-on-4. Especially as they've taken the full banana control. Risky fight to continue taking down mid, and it's the final bullet in the mag that Adron manages to catch him with. That is unfortunate. And they're just rotating Caesar off of B as OneTap look ready to move in. It's going to be completely open. don't believe they have a smoke though, only that flash. So with that not blinding him up, there actually is going to be free reign for Caesar. That second shot was nasty. Took a drawn out of mid-air. Swimming in the pool. They actually have to wrap it around construction just to pick the bomb up. And GeoHype needs a bit of assistance right now. His teammates actually push deep into the spawn, trying to deal with the man who's been a problem, of course, the entire time. And it's just Caesar who does it all. From the back of spawn, he picks up 4 headshots. And with that, gives a massive lifeline now over to Levadia. It honestly looked like it was over. Even down when it came towards the 1v1 there, Caesar just had no doubt. Instant headshots every time he saw someone. Other than what looked to be the Glock fight there in towards the spawn, but that wasn't on our screen from his perspective anyway. Not until the last second. No force buy either from OneTap. They're happy enough to just take the eco, get a buy as early as possible with everything they could ask for, or at least the rifles and basic nades, and hopefully put an end to this before any sort of a comeback can start to be mounted by Levadia. Morning and getting around the molly didn't work out for him. And good money being built up for the MP9 as well. Maybe they had them pinched in on Banana there, so they may as well just go ahead and clean it up. A little bit of confidence building as well by showing that they're not afraid, going a bit more aggressive in that round there. Could have backfired if they were up against the force buy, but thankfully that wasn't the case. Yeah, the buy isn't bad. Nades could be a little bit better, but they have the AKs on everyone and they have smokes as well across the board. So they've got what they need to make this round work for sure. Will they be able to, though, is the question, because if they do win this one, Levadia haven't built up any sort of a reserve bank, because obviously this is only round 3. They didn't take that, well, they did take that round fairly cleanly in the previous, but they reinvested into all their nades and such. So they haven't built up any real economy. Aggression in towards Banana. Just as OneTap starts to move up as well. Perfectly timed. Nice double angle, but one elevated. Unfortunately, he decided to drop down off the sandbags just as Moto started the spray down. Was able to line up 2 of them. Unfortunately, the bomb now being lost, though, puts OneTap in a bit of a predicament. It'll allow the rotations to come in for Levadia to just get into position to hold on to it. Although, as I say that, I realize they're pushing out mid instead. So how exactly is this going to play out? Because if they take too long now, their teammate on B could be taken out and the bomb might be planted before they even get in position. So we'll have to see. I like the play, though. HS falls back off, doesn't give any sort of an opening in terms of taking kills. He'd rather let them onto the bomb site and let his teammates get their flank up Banana, but unfortunately, they move a little bit too soon. Adron gets 1 kill, but they won't expect the second. Sikta has the perfect position. It's going to be the bomb carrier as well that he drops right now, so that's going to be pretty much the nail in the coffin for them. A nade up to do some damage as well, right into the face of the Adron, and an MP9 bullet to the face to finish him off as well. There it is, 5 on the board from Levadia. It gets dangerous, it gets dicey, but they are able to get it over the line in the end. Nades, not doing as much damage as I thought. I think only 1 landed in on 3. That's what took GeoHype down to 36. Oh, and he's going to burn. That honestly didn't look like it would spread that far. That's unfortunate. It came right around the corner. Yeah, they've only got pistols in this one anyway, so we're not expecting much. It should be 6 on the board for Levadia. And then if they win the next gun round, that might think things are starting to close in a bit. That should maybe begin to worry, although they still do pretty good damage there with the pistols. As I said, this next gun round is where you can maybe start to take that if they do it in clean fashion again, like they do with the previous one as well. And that's when I think you've got to start to say that they're coming alive, at least here on the CT side. But yeah, maybe I've jinxed it by speaking a bit too soon here. I know when a buy comes in from OneTap, they've got everything this time. They don't have an op, but that is likely just because they didn't want it, because they could have bought it if they needed it. Or if they did want to, rather. In Inferno, the AKs usually are plenty. This is wild from Vista. I believe he was spotted, but he still catches the bomb carrier up on bridge. It's going to be a kill from ZFX as well in the meantime, so the advantage goes the way of the CT side. It looks like they're going to try and keep it with some further aggression. Sikta pushed up through apps. Just about avoids the timing with Swifter. This might backfire. I was going to say, if ZFX gets caught on the A bomb site and falls, things could get dangerous, but that's the bomb. Sikta should have the bomb. Did he not see him? He dropped it to him. The bomb was literally just given to him. They have zero clue that they just dropped it right in front of him. That is very unfortunate. Sikta can just hold here now, wait for him to come back and pick that bomb up whenever they get ready to execute, and with that probably put an end to the round. Nana aggression is called in as well. I like that. Nice little double peek. I might force them to get the bomb and go A, and yeah, that is perfect. They're like, okay, we've seen two players Banana get bomb and go A. There's only one player there, Max, and he's not even on A. He's actually just chilling down the bottom watching the bomb. They had no clue. You love to see it. It's all on Swifter now, and well, he doesn't manage the first kill. Even if he did, though, there was already going to be two players waiting on the bomb site for him. A bit of a pause from OneTap, I believe. They were very willing to use their pauses earlier on in the game versus Infinite. We didn't really see Levadia using their pauses, though, when they were struggling in this map and in the previous one as well. I mean, I could be wrong. This could be Levadia's pause, despite having won a few rounds in a row. Maybe they just want to make sure it keeps going that way, but unfortunately, I don't have that info. I haven't got any direct info from the LAN itself. It was just a tactical. Every time we get one of those pauses, I am a little bit afraid it's a technical because there's nothing that differentiates it. And as I said, I'm not being told exactly what's going on when we get a pause or anything, so it is just usually a guess. Context of the situation can normally let you know who it's from. Yeah, OneTap just wanting to ensure that they can get something done with this gun round now, because if they lose this one, then they're on an eco with 9 for Levadia. Suddenly things begin to look a bit more realistic. At least the possibility of a comeback is going to be in the minds of OneTap. As they swarm them mid, not checking on their quad though. Sikta lines them up, gets 4 for himself with ease. No fight at all to be given. Moto got the only kill. It's all Siktas and all headshots, I believe, as well, if I'm remembering correctly. We're going to get the replay anyway, for sure. I'm not sure if both of those initial kills on the spray down were headshots. Were they? Yeah, they were. No, the third one wasn't. Damn. Either way, nasty ace. Incredibly crisp, and that's what you need. If you're going to come back into it, you need players pulling off plays like that. That's just going to get everyone feeling motivated. Like, okay, come on, guys. If we can all do that, then we definitely have it in us to make this comeback happen. Deep nade down mid. I like the balls here that they're willing to charge down mid, but it's against Tech 9s, and even though it's looking the work here initially, it is incredibly risky. We'll have to see. Smoke, that is also incredibly dangerous, as the Tracer nearly gave his position away. Thankfully, the Deagle spam can be a little bit unpredictable and wild, but it's still ending in trades. They've got a 3-on-3 right now. This is honestly not going as well as you'd expect for Levadia. Down into a 3-on-2 even now as they take out HS on the bomb site. The bomb plant is pretty much secure. Smek has enough to hold off that player towards construction, and yeah, if you're Levadia now, or if you're a Levadia fan, you're worrying. As that one pretty much seals the deal. Either, I'm surprised, isn't backing away to save. They could do it dropping a weapon over to HS in the next round. And, well, I suppose it might be go. They can obviously still get their buys no matter what in the next round, but yeah, if he loses that weapon, it impacts them a little bit, because ideally they'd want to have money for if needed to fight for the overtime as well. Two to go. OneTap are only a couple rounds away from claiming that first place. Again, the prize pool breakdown is $5,000 for first place, $3,000 for second, and $1,000 for third to fourth. So that is what Infinite and the other team. Imported talent, of course. How did I forget that? That's what they got. They got 1,000 each. So they didn't go home empty-handed, but considering they went all the way to Dubai, they were probably looking for a little bit more than 200 quid each. If they don't have to pay the coach and if they don't have to pay the order or whatever. So they definitely would have wanted more, but this is just absolutely horrible on Banana. I don't even know what they call it. I like the attempt of the aggression down, but unfortunately there was already the player tucked in up close in the corner, and the gap in the CT smoke even works out in favor of the D side. Not sure if they intended that when they put it down, but yeah, it has indeed allowed them to trade out and force Vista away. He's going to save to try and allow them to fight for an overtime. But they had spent everything pretty much apart from onto a couple of players into this round. He's the op, thankfully. Bit of peace and quiet, at least for Vista. Being left alone to save that up. 7 in a row, though. It's going to have to be flawless from Levadia from here on out. Not only to get it to an overtime and get the win for Inferno, but then pick up a victory on overpass as well. So I'm not liking their chances at all to honestly be... That's optimistic, saying I don't like their chances. They're screwed. I won't complain though. Again, this has been an all-nighter for me, so if they're going to take a one-sided 2-0, I will happily accept the sleep that it's going to give me afterwards. Levadia, though, will be disappointed. As I said, it's just not what we've seen from them in their previous games. Even in their previous game against OneTap, where it was a much closer affair. NetFX cross doesn't manage to get the shot off, unfortunately. They're actually rocking a double op setup here on the CT side right now. Focused heavily on the firepower to just try and get some early kills and hopefully alleviate some pressure by giving them a bit of an advantage. Sick has a strong position though. Oh, they have no idea. Yeah, he has a free drop pretty much on Geohype, and they might try and chase him in, which would be an issue against the MP9 up close. It's actually a drone coming in from behind on the opposite stairs. Goes down, and Vista's going to clean them up with an MP9 as well over on Long, taking 3 for himself. That's one way to do it. Not a single casualty. OneTap maybe feeling a bit too complicit, I suppose, in that round. Overlooking Byler, that was a strange one for sure. Six to go. I mean, to be fair, if they manage to break the economy here with 1, maybe 2 more, then there's only a couple of gun rounds between them and the overtime. So you can see the path forward, but not going to be easy. With a pretty even exchange there of damage in the opening moments, things aren't all that crazy. Deep banana control looking to be taken, at least for Levadia. They did show a bit of presence around the apps as well, so it's been definitely worked for by OneTap. It looks like they're pretty dedicated to this A hit. They don't really have the options with no B control, so it is known that the commitment's coming true. So the mollies are getting dropped, but the flash catches ZFX moving in through Moto. I think that may have even been from a teammate, unfortunately. And the players in pit are just mowed down, both blinded. And this might be it. It's up to HS and Caesar to try and save the day in the 2-on-4. Don't even have a kit to work with. A single flash is it in terms of the utility. Looks like this is going to be a victory for OneTap. Couple of kills between them and, well, the championship point. There we go. Moto hits himself a nice little one-tap. Smek comes in for the final kill, and it's 16-9. It's not as one-sided in that second map, but it's just a very decisive best of 3 and a very decisive showing throughout the entire tournament from OneTap. I believe not having dropped a single map